The Nickel Boys is a very powerful book to read, and you'll notice there on the cover that it says winner of the Pulitzer Prize, a really distinguished prize for writing, but it is also not difficult to read. Sometimes really, really good literature that wins awards can kind of be too much, but The Nickel Boys is an interesting story. We're going to talk about that story. We're going to talk about the assignment that you have to do for the book that's due the first week of class. And then I'm going to talk about how you're going to complete that assignment. So I'm not going to lie. The Nickel Boys is sometimes a difficult read in terms of the subject matter. The main character gets put in like a juvenile boys' home. And while the book is fiction, it is based on reports of not nice things happening from these homes, right? This is the 1960s. So, right around the civil rights era, Martin Luther King, and marching and kind of trying to get rid of Jim Crow laws. And this book is important, even though parts might be sad to read, it is important to bear witness, right? It is important to recognize things that have happened so that we can not repeat them, right? Not do them again. We can acknowledge the people that went through those things. So this main character gets accused and sent away, and the story is really about his experience at this kind of juvenile school for boys. The main character is Elwood, and Elwood's story is really interesting. It starts before he gets accused, and you kind of get a slice of his life and what he wants to be. So he's a young man, and he has hopes and dreams and all of these things. And then he gets sent away under these really not good circumstances, which we know happens. And then he has a lot of different experiences and some trauma at this school kind of boot camp, detention center, place where he was sent. And again, this story is actually fiction, but we know that things like this did happen. So we want to know Elwood's story, and Elwood's story is very interesting, the main character, but it's also important. This is a part of history because this has happened in our history. And as I mentioned before, we don't want it to happen again. And it's important to acknowledge that some people did go through this, and so that we don't repeat it. And finally, really in the end, it is about having hope. Looking back, acknowledging what has happened, and then how do we make our way forward? Sometimes it seems like there isn't a way forward. But this writer, Colson Whitehead, is so talented and really takes this main character in a direction where we believe at the end that we can have hope.